Hola chicos, buenas tardes, buenas noches. I'm going to start with the final video, the final grammar point of our current chapter, and it is talking about the past with a couple of regular verbs, ir, ser, hacer, dar, and ver. So without further ado. So for our last grammar notes of the chapter, let's talk about 5 verbs that totally do what they want. They are totally irregular in this preterite tense. They are ir, ser, hacer, dar, and ver. All of these verbs have some irregularity in the present tense, and both ir and ser are totally irregular in the preterite tense. Have some irregularity in the present tense, and ir and ser are both totally irregular in the present tense as well. So like for example, ir is yo voy, tú vas, ser is yo soy, tú eres. And both ir and ser are also totally irregular in this preterito and this preterite tense as well. So if you look to the left, you see those conjugations. Remember that ir means to go, and ser means to be. The preterite conjugations, the past tense conjugations of ir are yo fui, tú fuiste, él y usted fue, nosotros fuimos, and ellos, ellas, ustedes fueron. And the preterite conjugations of ser, which means to be in like a permanent sense. Remember, estar is the other to be, like temporarily. The preterite conjugations of ser are yo fui, tú fuiste, él y usted fue, nosotros fuimos, and ellos fueron. Now obviously some people are going to be saying, well, those are the exact same words, Senor Gans, and they are. How do we tell the difference between whether or not that like fui is coming from ir, like I went, or ser, like I was? Context. And the example that I always give my students is, for example, the English word well. So like, for example, well, of course, can be the adverb of good, right? Like that test went well. Or it can also be a hole in the ground that collects water, right? Like, so, you know, in old times, you know, you'd go out to the well and pump water, and that's how you get water. So we know that in English, for example, when I say I am well, you know that I'm saying I'm good, like I'm doing okay, not I am a hole in the ground that collects water. So even though it's a little bit confusing to have, especially as a beginning-ish Spanish student, even though it's confusing to see both of these verbs and think like, hey, they're the same thing, how am I going to tell the difference? That context will be the thing that lets you know whether or not the fui, for example, is I went or I was. So chicos, we'll be using those 2 verbs for the next couple of days, and then the other verbs I want to take a look at the bottom of your notes are hacer, which means to do or to make, dar, which means to give, and ver, which means to see. And those verbs are also totally irregular. Hacer in the preterite tense is yo hice, tú hiciste, él, ella, usted hizo, nosotros hicimos, and ellos, ellas, ustedes hicieron. Dar is yo di, tú diste, él dio, nosotros dimos, and ellos dieron. And ver is basically the exact same except with a V instead of a D. Yo vi, tú viste, él, ella, usted vio, nosotros vimos, and ellos, ellas, ustedes vieron. So chiquillos, that is it for the notes for this chapter. Make sure to fill these out for a homework grade and bring any questions that you have with you tomorrow to class. Nos vemos mañana. Adiós.